few fighters at 7-0 would go in and box someone like Konstantin Airich. If you look at the heavyweights, great heavyweights, Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, his progression is so much quicker than them. But because he's doing it with such ease, you know, people say, oh, you've got to step him up, oh, you've got to step up. Well, tonight was a step up. Skelton in the last fight was a step up. And Baktov in the next fight is a much, much bigger step up. But he'll probably take them out with ease as well, because he's that good. Yeah. So he's a victim of his own success, in some respects, because we could just feed him terrible fighters, but we're not. We're feeding him decent heavyweights. But he's just making such light work of them.
Yeah. You must be very happy with your progress.
I'm critical. But like Eddie said,
are you critical of yourself? Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to get better for my next fight. There has to be some small improvements, whether it's a percentage or 5%. I just have to step it up. But I think, like Eddie said, I think the next fight will be tougher, and I'm happy with the progression more than anything.
Are you your own biggest critic then?
No, my coach is. Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, but you're more than happy the way it's going, obviously.
Yeah, it's a long road. It's going to be a long, tough road.
And you're not getting too far ahead of yourself.
No. Even though like Eddie had much confidence in me to put me in October the 11th, I did it myself, but I didn't look past September or today, and I made sure I handled this job first and foremost in good fashion. Yeah. No injuries, no cuts, nothing like that, and then. Yeah, I'm not looking too far ahead. Now I can go to the next job at hand.
Yeah. So job done,
on to the next one.
Yeah.
Because they're coming thick and fast.
How important is that for you? Because obviously you got October and then Sprott later in the year as well. So how important is it you do remain focused on you?
It's a journey though. Even though I'm looking at it short term, because everything's happening quick. It's just non-stop. I love fighting. Like 2 weeks ago, I'll be thinking, it's been ages since I last boxed, because they're happening so quick, and just look forward to October the 11th. No pressure, I'm going to get in there, enjoy it, and trade it out with Baktov, and hopefully win that WBC international belt. That'll be amazing.
If on your debut you were told it would take until your 85 for you to reach the 3rd round, would you believe that?
Yeah. We train hard, you know. I train hard, so the results. I believe these results are what I work for. Eddie did say, give it a year, we'll fight for our first title. It's reality. My trainer, Tony, said if I train hard, I'm going to get the victories. It's comes to reality, so everything's kind of like working out pretty well.
It comes full circle, but where you made your debut, that's where you're fighting for your first title.
Definitely.
You look relaxed in there tonight, when you get too relaxed.
Well, me and Eddie had a brief chat, and this is like being a victim of your own success to a certain extent. I'm not at world championship level, so we can't get carried away, because that's where I want to be. But where I am at the minute, I'm handling business. But as I said, it's going to get tougher. There's some real tougher opponents out there. I honestly thought he was going to go the distance or later on into the round, but he didn't. But when the time comes, I'll switch on. I was switched on, but these guys aren't in my league, as you can see, and I'm just having fun with them, really, trying to get the rounds under. I went back into the changing room and done 40-minute pad work, stuff like that. So like, I'm hungry, and I'm not going to let these guys get in the way of my dream.
You still had energy you wanted to burn after that?
Yeah, every fight that I get, well, I've stopped most of them, but yeah. So I go back and make sure we get a full workout. So I'm still getting the rounds under my belt. So if it does go the distance, I'll be good to go.
Eddie, would you say Anthony's the second biggest star behind Crotch in your stable at the moment?
I'm not a star.
I think that everywhere we take him, we get such a wonderful reception. But it's not really about being, you know, we're building him commercially as a star, along with, you know, other team working on that as well. But I think ultimately we're putting more into his progression as a fighter. You know, he gets invited to every openings of envelopes, do you know what I mean? And he goes to a lot, but I'm more concerned about him. I know that he's got the profile, I know that he's got the platform in Sky. He's going to be a huge pay-per-view fighter in years to come, for many, many years. But ultimately, I'm more interested in the short term of his progression as a fighter. And by boxing him all over the country, you know, Manchester, this was his first time he's boxed here, Glasgow, obviously boxed in London, boxed in Cardiff, boxed in Liverpool, he doesn't realise it yet, but when he does step up to that moment to be tested, he'll be ready because of the experience he's had as a professional fighter. And talking about him switching off is because he's so good. I know that might sound a bit strange, but like, against a fighter like Airich, you can't really switch off because he's dangerous. And I've seen him fight people, I've seen him hurt people, I've seen him, you know, being boxed quality fighters. He fought Solis, he went 12 rounds, he gave him a great fight. You know, he went the distance recently with Baktov. He's been in with some quality fighters, but he just played with him. Like, and that's why he switched off. And I just said to him outside, when he steps up, he won't switch off. I know that 100% because he won't be allowed to switch off. And I think Baktov is that first probably step where he may not switch off. But I don't want him to become a little bit bored with things. But it's sensational that he is switching off against a fighter like Airich, who is dangerous, but didn't even look for a second like he could hurt Anthony Joshua. I know it takes one punch, etc., 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 but ultimately he didn't even come out first gear. He could have done that in the first 30 seconds of the fight. And you're talking about decent level heavyweights. I mean, the stat is, which is a great stat for you guys, is that his record, his combined opponents are 129 wins, 61 losses and 1 draw. If you compare that to Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, his run of first 8 opponents are on another level to all those fighters. So you can't really give him stick. You just got to understand that he's so good, he's making good fighters look very average.
Hearing all this, Josh, like about being star and commercial and travelling, what do you do to sort of like concentrate on the fighting and try and step away from all that?
You've got to remember, like, before boxing, not much was going well. So I don't take this for granted, regardless of what we're achieving and what's going on and what I hear. There's a long way to go. I'm far from satisfied. I've only had 8 fights and I'm only coming up to a year into my professional career. So far off where I want to be, so it goes in one ear and out the other for me. I take small bits, but I just got to clear the smoke and just crack on. I'm fighting again in 4 weeks. Coach says there's a few days rest. I don't think I'll rest much. I want to get back in the gym because I really want to take Baktov out. Really want to just hurt him and get him out of that ring because I want that WBC international belt. And I want to make all my supporters proud and people that believe in me. I want to do it for them as well. So yeah, I just got to keep on proving it to myself that I am what Eddie thinks I am, what I believe I am, and my coach believes I am.
Given Anthony's progression, how long do you think it'll be before you can step him up to top level?
Depends, you know, regarding top level, I think, you know, he fights Baktov on October the 11th, he wins that WBC belt, it's going to give him a top 15 ranking. We've got to be careful, we don't just want to dive straight in deep, and he's still got a long way to go, a lot to learn. But ultimately, the way he's progressing, you know, you progress, you have to be versatile with your progression in that you move at the rate that the fighter is moving at, not at the rate of a normal human being is working. So someone say, well, don't rush him. Well, we're not rushing him at the moment, it's just that he's beat. All you do is you step up to the next level. If he beats Baktov with these, you step up, you know, we're looking at Sprott for November the 29th potentially. If he beats him with these, he has to fight for a British title. I mean, he destroys Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora right now. Right? Absolutely not even a question. It would put him in a ring with them. It destroyed them. It absolutely destroyed them. But they're not necessarily the right fights for the right time now. You know, those fights can be pay-per-view fights at huge stadiums. We're still growing him as a person, as a fighter, and his profile as well. But he has to do what's right. And sometimes people will get frustrated. The general public will get frustrated, but they have to understand he's in with quality fighters now. It's just that he's on another level.
And like you say, it's a short career, like you said to Scott, make him earn money.
Of course, I mean, Scott, you know, Scott Quiggs, obviously he's got a world champion now. Anthony's got years and years to go. He's going to make fortunes for many years of his life, and luckily he's level-headed, and he can just focus on himself, and he will be a huge star in world boxing. He's got everything set up for him. I mean, he couldn't wish for anything else. The progression, the path, it's all there, waiting in front of him. Regarding Scott Quigger we talk about, you know, when you get to that level, you just want to give the fighters the most money they can. It's a tough business. It's a short lifespan for being a professional fighter. You've got to maximise your earnings. It's all about the money at the end of the day, and the glory of winning titles, but most of all the money. some people don't like to hear that, but that's the truth. You know, you're in for the glory of the titles and to make as much money as possible. Scott Quigg needs those big fights. He could break all kinds of records financially. That's not really his motivation. I know he wants a few quid, but he wants to be the very, very best. And that's the burning desire that will make him a champion.
Any chance of scoring Klitschko again?
Yeah, definitely. He said it was one of the best sparring partners that he's had over. Not just me, myself. There was a lot of us, and he's scheduled to fight again in November. So I think get October the 11th out of the way, and then I think he'll be starting to spar later on in the week, maybe the week after, and then it goes hand in hand with my fight. Potentially in November 29th, so yeah.
Maybe we could bring him over for one of our camps.
Imagine that.
Matchroom man.
I know you're sparring with Klitschko, but actually being in Stranglework, which is a great place.
Really good.
We've been there, you know, a few of us.
Yeah.
That must have boosted your confidence.
The main thing I look for when I'm training is peace. It's a warrior sport. Realistically, I know we talk about the fame and the finance and stuff, but you got to keep that gladiator spirit. So to get out in Stranglework, you're up in the mountains.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's just like you're really zoned out, and the only thing you can think of is boxing. All the sparring partners from America, Russia, Germany. Aaron Pryor's son was there. James Ali Bashir was there. Kevin Johnson who fought Vitali. Malik who'd been in with. So the boxing fraternity that was there, like with us, we were just talking boxing, and it was just great to be amongst these people. Gave me just a great experience, and I'll go there again. Once isn't enough for me. That got me in good shape for this fight, but the more I do it, like home's been inspiring lately.
Plenty of fresh air and everything there, isn't it?
Perfect, and hopefully one day I can set one of these up as well, so I'll set up a nice camp somewhere. But I've got to get to that level first. But I took pictures, I took notes, I ordered some